Hello everybody and welcome back to our second, edition of the pre-modern brew crew. This is where we go ahead and we take a deck, an idea, we start brewing around it, we put it through initial and then 2 other rounds revisions after some matches and see where we end up. Now for this one, this is one of my all-time favorites. One of my favorite decks to play when I first got into really competitive Magic involved this card, Heartbeat of Springs, saying whenever a player taps a land for mana, that player adds 1 mana of any type that land or any type that land could produce. I loved playing that card with, well, what would you know? Early Harvests and Brain Freezes. Now, it is a fun deck. I loved it. I loved the turns, I loved combo all the time, and it has always had a nostalgic part of my history in Magic wrapped up in it. And when I got into pre-modern, I was like, man, I have Brain Freeze, I have Early Harvest. What can we do about Heartbeat? So we had to minus the Heartbeat. Then, okay, first thought was, hey, Mirari's waked us thing, and it's only for me. That's cool. It has us in 3 colors. That's okay. I really only need to splash the white for it. So I started looking at that. I was like, I'm not running creatures. I'm not getting there. It's so expensive. Counterspells and enchant removal are so prevalent. I don't know if I have the chance. Keep looking. And I stumbled across a forum post where somebody was not using Wake. They were using Overabundance. Costs about the same as Heartbeat of Spring, deals damage people, so it's kind of a win condition, gives me that effect, and you know, I run something like Glacial Chasm and I don't take damage on the turn that I go off. So for a while I was really mulling this over. Then, wouldn't you know it, I stumble across another forum post, and all of you already have realized this. Let me remove these from the screen. I did not add this right away to my stuff, but I'm sure you guys are gonna know and already point out in comments and in chat and all of that. Well, wouldn't you know, ManaFlare is legal and available for pre-modern. Wouldn't you know it? So after I got over my initial dummaroo of not realizing this card was available, we got to work. Let me bring you over to Alright, so here is our deck. The core of this deck is ManaFlare, Early Harvest, and Turnabout with a Brain Freeze to kill. The basic idea is you ManaFlare out, you're able to Early Harvest, untap, Turnabout, untap, and play a variety of other spells in between to Brain Freeze them off a storm. Now, there is another way to do this, and something I have in the sideboard. I have Cunning Wishes as well, to start with. Cunning Wishes can not only go get a Brain Freeze, but they can go get the alternate win condition. Number 1 being, if I really need to, I can stroke them out. Stroke of Genius, that's target player draws X cards. Other addition I had, and I was thinking, you know, what can I do, because Solitary Confinement's a card. Shroud is a card. Things of that nature. So what can I do? I decided on, well, Hunting Pack. If all else fails, and there's something getting around, I can't target them, at least I can make a bunch of big creatures get in the way, and then I can use something like a Naturalize or something to get rid of their Solitary Confinement. So in alternate condition, we have 3 different ways of winning. Now, how do we get there? Well, number 1, we have some draw spells. We have Fact or Fiction, we have Frantic Search, Intuition, Meditate, are our draw spells. We have 1, Read the Ruins, we have a Gush. This is all just either 1 untapped lands as we do it, find exactly what we need, get overabundance of card advantage, and kind of keep that rotation going once you get the mana flowing. And it doesn't take much. Outside of that, to fix our mana, we have rampant growth, have crop rotation. Now, crop rotation is interesting. It's an instant speed and puts it into play untapped. So if you tap out with an early harvest or something like that, you have all your mana tapped, you forget to do something, you can cycle it and get an untapped land, which is very nice with ManaFlare out. Additionally, I have a singular Glacial Chasm in this deck. Now, Glacial Chasm, let's go ahead and take a look. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice on land. It has a cumulative upkeep of paying 2 life, but creatures you control can't attack, fine, and then prevent all damage that would be dealt to you. Burn, getting attacked, no getting hit, etc. It really can give you that time, and if you get it out early enough and you're doing it right, you can go ahead and get 2 or 3, maybe even 4 turns if you're lucky with this out without having to worry. Additionally, we are running a singular moments piece and more moments pieces in the sideboard for the aggro matchups. They can give you time, especially since you can play twice. Next up are kind of some returning cards. In this case, I mean things like Recall. I mean things like Nostalgic Dreams. These are things that allow you to, once you've drawn a bunch of cards, inevitably you draw a bunch of land. Go ahead, discard that land to bring back your important spells. Same with Recall, very good, especially when you're against Duresses, Therapies, things like that can really obliterate your hand. It works very well to counteract that. Additionally, some weird ones. One weird card many people probably haven't seen, I didn't know about until somebody, my local game store owner, had pointed it out. Basium Strip. I think it's bargain, I think. Essentially a bargain. Every turn. Until end of 3 and tap. Until end of turn, you may cast instants and sorcery spells from the top of your graveyard. Spells cast this way would be put into a graveyard this turn. Exile it. Now, it doesn't come up very often, but it is awesome. You play this, you tap it, say you early harvest, and then tap and you early harvest again. You can do things like, oh, got some lands in there from discarding. You can blessing away the lands that are from your top of your library, get to more spells. You can factor fiction again. Frantic again can work with it. It's a very interesting one-up that can go ahead and put a different spin on things. And then in the sideboard, it's a wish sideboard. It's not perfect. Hunting Pack we mentioned, Stroke we mentioned, Mana Short kind of for the control matchup, an additional Brain Freeze, a Chain of Vapor can get things going, a Naturalize, an Evacuation, Hunting Pack, and then the biggest ones are 3 more moments piece for the aggro matchup, and for the control matchup, I went with Defense Grid. Now, in theory, this deck can go off at instant speed at the end of an opponent's turn. None of this says you can be prevented. The only big things you can't do are Dreams and Recall, but everything else is an instant. So there are those opportunities where Defense Grid may not be the best, but it's a playing game. Outside of that, we're at 24 land. Now, that may be too little. I may need 1 more land. I may need to switch this up. Wooded Foothills might have to be there. But we're at 24 land. All basics except the Chasm because of the clause on early harvest. We're going ahead. Target player untaps all basic lands. So that's the deck, guys. Now, this is not the fastest deck in the world. It takes some setup. It's not like your normal Brain Freeze like Sapphire Medallion decks and Helm decks and Frantic Storms. But it's powerful. It has staying power. My guess is it really kind of beats up on kind of them mid-rangey, maybe survival, Sylvan decks. Probably gets pretty decent against aggro with the moments pieces can kind of get you there. I expect control to be a problem. I'm not worried about discard as much because I'm heavy on the Dreams, on Recall, things like that. But we'll see, guys. So that's the deck. That's what we're doing. We will play 3 rounds, which I will record and post, and after those 3 rounds, we will come back and revise this for another 3 rounds. So guys, let me know what you think of the deck in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe. I look forward to hearing your comments. My name is Modern Magic Emporium, and we'll talk to you later. Take care.